What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Welcome back. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Power Season 1, well, Book 2, Season 1, Episode 9. So the theme of this episode is Frankenstein. If y'all haven't figured it out yet or made the connection, every time they're reading a new book, it's connected to what's going on in the story. So the theme this week is Frankenstein. We see Tariq waking up with Frankenstein laying on his chest. And he immediately gets a text from 2-Bits, who's basically like, where my money? He goes to the vault, aka the fireplace, and he realizes that he don't have enough money to pay 2-Bit what 2-Bit is asking. He calls up Method Man, and he's like, yo, I might be a little late on this week's payment. Method Man was like, you know what, I got a heart, that's cool, you can pay me next week, but I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this expert witness that I got for your mother. Now Paula is there, you know, Paula, his investigator, aka his concubine, and she was like, what expert witness, what are you talking about? And you know, he was like, and when he gets off the phone, of course Tariq was like, oh no, my mom's case is important, I'll figure something else out, I'll get you your money. And then when I got off the phone, Paula was like, what are you talking about? What expert witness are we talking about? And he was like, there is no expert witness, but Tariq was playing with me. I know, you know, he's talking about something, he don't have the money. His grandmother needs something. I know that was bullshit. And so I want my money. Now, while this is going on, we see Kane with his new GTG buddy, and they're cutting up the pieces of the people that Kane killed. I guess they're doing it together. I guess that's to symbolize and solidify their partnership. Whatever. Zeke then spent the night over to Carrie's house, you know, and she notices the bruises on his back. She asked him about what happened. He was like, I can't tell you. And she was like, come on, you can trust me. Like, I'm putting my whole career on the line for you, and you can't tell me how you got some bruises on your back? Like, what's going on? You came over here last night. You were real distraught. I let you spend the night. What's good? And so he goes on and lets her know, you know, enough of the story, right? Now, what I forgot, I don't know if they mentioned it and I just forgot, or they just conveniently threw it in the story. I feel like they mentioned it and I just forgot. Carrie used to be a prosecutor before, I guess, she went into academia. And the next thing we know, we see Laz Alonso with his fine ass. Anyway, he is playing a detective who is on campus looking for the killer of the guy in the pool. He said, you know, people wanted to make it seem like the dude was just an accident, but we realized that it's more to it than that. This person has gang connections, and if he was on campus, then the likelihood he was here looking for somebody, and maybe the person, the way that's how he got killed. You know, basically, they putting 20 on 10. Because I feel like just because he got a gang tattoo does not automatically mean he was there and he was killed or died under nefarious conditions. But whatever, we just gonna move with it. I feel like a lot of people this episode put 20 on 10, but I understand what they're doing. We getting to the end of the season and they trying to connect all the dots, so they gotta hurry up and force them some shit in here that they've been slow walking all season. But whatever, we're gonna get to that. So then they have this whole conversation with Jabari and Carrie and the dean, and basically talking about nobody on this campus would be involved in anything illegal. We're elite and we're this and we're that, and nobody here would be involved. Oh my gosh, our students are so above board, and we would, child, whatever, boo bye. Every college campus has a dark side. I don't give a damn who they're, white collar, rich, poor, black, white, indifferent. Every college campus has a dark side. And for them to sit there and have this whole conversation acting like their students wouldn't be involved in anything illegal or, you know, anything, you know, that wasn't above board, that's ridiculous for them to just, like, that whole conversation to me was just real ridiculous. Like, I get it that nobody wants to accept that their students are doing things that are not, you know, appropriate or whatever, but the fact that they would sit there and be so adamant with a police detective, oh my goodness, or the FBI, why are you guys here? This is a da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, whatever, like, I taught school from 7th grade all the way through college, and please understand, I had 7th graders who were involved in illegal crimes. Like, it just is what it is. You don't like to think about it, you don't like to know that it's going on, but for them, anyway, I'm going way left here. I just thought that conversation was a bit extra. And Jabari turned it into a whole Black Lives Matter moment. First of all, he was in his feelings because he felt like Laz Alonso was flirting with Carrie when really they were just having a damn conversation about what it was. And the dean kept deferring to Carrie because Carrie was a former prosecutor, basically asking her, well, do you think this is legit? Do you think this is real? Do you think this is what really could be going on? Like, deferring to the fact that she did do this. And Jabari just inserted himself, and Laz Alonso was looking at him like, dude, like, I'm gonna need you to bring it down 1,000. But anyway, so they came up with this plan that the kids could go and talk to her anonymously, and then she would refer to the police what she thought was important. And I was like, who agreeing to that? Like, who agreeing to that it's gonna go through a professor who just clearly let you know that she was biased? But whatever. So that's the plan. And then of course Jabari put his 2 cents in, talking about some well, she is kind of busy. Well, the dean said, you're busy, do you have time? I'll help her. Ain't nobody asked for your help. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Anyway, so then we have Monet and Drew. Drew is in over his head because everybody is, first of all, the Connect is still looking for his missing man. Rico is their Connect, and because they're missing man. Now, here's what I don't understand. Y'all gonna have to help me in these comments. I could have sworn that they made that whole situation look like a robbery, right? Wasn't that the whole thing with putting him in the truck and shooting him in a certain place? Like, didn't they make it? I thought they made it look like a robbery. So either Rico don't believe it was really a robbery, or that, I don't know. But I really thought that was why they didn't, like, just disappear the body. They set up a whole whatever. So anyway, Rico looking for his man, and he feeling some kind of way because of course he looking at Monet like, I sent my man to you, he ain't come back, what's good? So Drew was like, for real, like, they don't have they didn't get their re-up like they were supposed to. Drew is making these collections, but he is really in over his head because at the end of the day, Kane was the muscle. Like, Drew might be the head of the operation because Monet was like, well, that's what you this was always supposed to be your operation. It just came a little bit faster than we anticipated, but you're gonna have to step up and do what you're supposed to do. And he was like, yeah, but everybody knows that Kane was the muscle. Like, basically he was like, don't nobody respect me. Everybody know that Kane was the muscle, right? So then they had this whole conversation where Monet was like, I wanted better for you, but, that's over with now. I had to deal with it, so you got to come to terms with it too. When did you want better for them? Because I have seen nothing throughout this whole season that makes me feel like you wanted better for your kids. I feel like your whole goal for you and your husband was to groom y'all's kids to take over the business. I have seen nothing that made me feel like you were trying to let your kids have a different life, but whatever. Anyway, that was that conversation. So then, now we're in class, and again, they're having this whole conversation about Frankenstein, and again, that is the theme, and they're talking about the monster, and was somebody a monster just simply because, that's how they were made, they were built to be a monster, or whatever. And Tariq, of course, gives this wonderful soliloquy that he always does every episode and gives a different perspective. Because Lauren was like, basically, if you're a criminal, like, I get it that there are black men in jail for no reason, but if you're a criminal, you're supposed to be in jail. And of course, Tariq got all in his fifis and was like, so my mother deserves to be in jail? Yes! Yes, she does! Anyway, so then Tariq gave this story about, well, maybe the monster isn't a monster because of how he was created, but he's a monster because how he was treated. But that doesn't apply to you, does it, Tariq? Because you were treated pretty damn well. You were raised in a nice neighborhood, a nice house, went to the best schools, was given whatever you needed. All your father asked you to do was fucking go to school, get some good grades, and have some damn respect. Oh, but no, that wasn't good enough for you. You decided that you was mad at your daddy, and you went out here and decided you was going to be a criminal, and you was going to be a better criminal than him. So, this don't apply to you, Tariq. At all. Moving on. So, of course, after the class, Lauren tried to apologize. Tariq was in his feelings, basically told her, leave him the hell alone. Now, I feel like a part of Tariq is pushing her away because he knows he's getting deeper and deeper into the game, and he really don't want to pull her in with him. I think he likes Lauren. But I really think that it's that, he's really trying to protect her, which to a certain degree I can respect. Tasha in jail. She done called Tariq on that damn cell phone. Now, I don't know how she charged it. People who've been in jail, how do y'all charge our illegal cell phones? Because let's be clear. I know y'all be having cell phones in jail illegally. Who be charging them for you? Do the guards be charging them for y'all? Do they make y'all pay a fee? What's good? Let me know. It neither here nor there. Tasha done called Tariq. Tariq said something about an expert witness, which of course Tasha don't know nothing about. So of course she gonna talk to Davis about this expert witness. Next thing you know, they doing a room search because Saxton called down to the jail to have him toss Tasha's cell because he feels like Tasha must be communicating somehow, some way. Now, I don't know how we got to that conclusion. I don't know how we came to that conclusion, but somehow Sax must have come to that conclusion. And so they toss her cell. The guard who planted the cell comes and tells Tasha, yo, give me that burner. And I don't know you. What are you talking about? He was like, girl, I'm the one that put the burner in your cell. If you don't give me that damn phone. So she ends up giving him the phone, talking about something. You gonna give me another one? Girl, if you don't get that man that damn phone. So, of course, Mr. DNC is all up on it and he knows everything about it. And he confronts Sax. And Sax is like, what are you talking about? He was like, Davis is gonna find out. Like, you can't be harassing Tasha like that. He was like, Davis not gonna find out. What are you talking about? He was like, I did. So that was how I even made the connection that this was Sax. Because honestly, I just thought it was random. Because at the end of the day, they do searches all the time in jail. I mean, for whatever reason. So it didn't have to necessarily be connected to Tasha. So I feel like that wasn't even a necessary part of the story. Because it didn't have to be connected to Tasha. But whatever. Then we got Carrie doing her research, and she done took the little bit of information that Zeke then gave her, and she done connected Zeke to the whole Tejada family, to the whole GTG gang, which of course was the tattoo on the guy in the pool. And she done read up on the whole court case of Tejada versus the people in New York. And she's, of course, made all this connection. So now she knows that Zeke is connected to GTG, and her thing is, if I could connect the dots relatively easily, then you could connect the dots. And of course, at this moment, Jabari come rolling in, and he sees the pictures on her desk of Zeke and the family and the basketball team and this, that, and the other. And so of course now I think maybe he might be double like thinking, oh wait a minute, maybe it's not Tariq, maybe it is Zeke. I don't know. Now, when they was talking to Laz Alonso, he did see some of the pictures that had Drew. No, I'm sorry. It was this part where he saw the pictures with Drew in it. And she was like, well, do you know anybody in this picture? He saw Drew, and he was like, nah. Now, remember, he saw Drew with Tariq down to the No-Tell Motel last episode when they was making their drug exchange in the middle of the damn parking lot. Or whatever. I digress. Well, in the doorway. Whatever. So then Drew goes to find Kane. And basically trying to get him to come back home. And Kane was like, what you talking about? Like, I came back home. Monet won't let me in. So this ain't on me. This is on Monet. And at that moment, that's when he seen Mr. GTG himself. And Drew was like, whoa. What he doing alive? After what he did to this family? After what he did to me? And what he tried to do to Zeke? He's still breathing? And Kane gonna tell him because I can trust him. He loyal. Loyal to what? So Drew was like, wow, this is what you really gonna do? Like, you really gonna go into business with the people who, like, basically are coming for the family. All right, I see you for your works. Okay, cool. So then so Drew takes that information back to Monet. And Monet is like, listen, we just need to kill all of them fools. And he was like, including Kane, she was like, listen, don't say that name in this house. He is dead to us. So, yes, as far as I'm concerned, if he get in the way, it is what it is. He made his bed. He gonna have to lie in it. And Drew was like, whoa. Like, I ain't signed up for all of this bullshit. Like, all I wanted to do was go fall in love with my little basketball boy down to the college and live my good life. I don't even understand what all of this is about. Next thing you know, we see Tasha meeting up with Davis. And she asking him about this expert witness. And he basically says, listen, you don't need to know all of that. All you need to know is what I tell you. And it's best that you don't know too much information, so when we get to court, you're surprised by what you see or whatever bullshit line he done gave her. So Tasha looks at Paula. Paula looks at Tasha. Tasha kind of makes this connection like, okay. So we're going to get back to that in a second. Now, next thing you know, we see Sax and Davis meeting up with the Scripper. Now, the Scripper is living a good life at some house of one of her little married men. And they go to talk to her. And of course, at first she was like, yo, I'm not talking to the police. And they explained who they were. Now, what had happened was the Scripper done got hemmed up on a possession charge. And she's possibly looking at losing her son and going to jail. So, of course, they let her know, listen, all you got to do is say what we want you to say in court, and we can make those charges go away, and you can help Tasha in the process. Now, she was like, I don't understand how, because they want her to say that she saw Tariq at the daycare, and that Tariq worked at the daycare, and that she never knew anything about who Ghost was, and he didn't know anything about what was going on down to the daycare. And she was like, how is this going to help Tasha? But at the end of the day, if y'all going to make my charges go away and I'm going to be good to go, then it is what it is. I'm going to just have to make it happen the best way I can make it happen. Now, while this is going on, there is a guy that is taking pictures of them, and he has pictures of Sax and Davis and the Scripper at the front door. And at the point when you first see this, you don't know if this guy is working for Sax, if it's like, we don't know who he's working for, but we see him taking the pictures, and of course, that ain't a good look with the two of them working together. So Brayden and Tariq. Brayden hasn't been staying at the room with Tariq because, of course, he's still pissed off at Tariq. Tariq tries to talk to him, and he... Oh, let me rewind. My bad. I missed the part. When Tariq went to go get his re-up from Monet, Monet gave him straight coke. She didn't give him no pills, and he was like, yo, what's this? And Monet was like, listen, I never got my supply, but this is what was in the truck. Or her supply was light, whatever it was. But this is what was in the truck. Because remember, they took all the drugs out the truck. She was like, I need to move it. I done pulled all my corner boys off the corner. Because that's what Kane is trying to do. Kane is trying to take over back up the street. Because Monet done pulled everybody off the corner. Which I thought that was a stupid move. But again, not my business. So then... he's telling Brayden, listen, we got to move this coat. Like, campus is hot because of everything that happened down to the pool, but we need to do what we got to do. And, of course, this is what Brayden wanted to do all along, and he really just wanted her to be honest. I mean, wanted, Tariq to be honest with him. So they sort of make up, and, Brayden was like, well, how we going to move it? And he said, it would be perfect for us to, get in touch with, it was the FELC. I think I called her the wrong name last episode, but the girl at Yale, y'all know who I'm talking about. Shit. And he was like, well, she ain't really feeling me right now. She a little pissed off, so can you make the call and set up the meet? And Brayden was like, all right, I'll do it, bet. So whatever. Like I said, they have a very what's the word I'm looking for? Light truce right now, because I feel like Brayden ain't all the way back on board, but he like being in the game, and he know that Tariq got him in the game. Then we have Carrie talking to Zeke, trying to convince Zeke that he need to go to the police. Carrie is a snitch. She talking about something. You need to go to the police. I can protect you because you can tell me, and I can share the information anonymously. And Zeke was like, hell no, hell no. But she lets him know, listen, if they make this connect, look, I made the connection. If they make the connection to you, your career is gone. Like, even if you're not involved in the game, even if you're not a part of the game, at the end of the day, just the fact that your name is attached to anything dealing with that dead body is going to look bad, So, of course, Zeke, his nervous ass, he goes to Monet and tells Monet about it, and that he going to have to pull back from the family for a while, and he needs to separate himself, and Carrie said this, and Carrie said that. Monet was like, Carrie, who? Oh, that professor? Yeah, what's up with that anyway? Because I feel like the two of y'all are a little too close for comfort. I peeped it, and he was like, no, Carrie cares about me. She's this, she's that. She's my advisor. She was like, she your advisor, all right. So Zeke leaves, Diana comes in, and, Monet asked Diana about it, like, did you hear anything, know anything about this Carrie character? And she was like, well, no, but I did see something in Tariq's bag. And so she tells Monet about the index card about there's a student sleeping with a professor. She was like, I thought it was about Tariq, but maybe it was about Zeke. Y'all putting 20 on 10. Do y'all know how many damn students are at that goddamn school? It's thousands upon thousands of students at that school, and y'all automatically make the connection that that index card was about Zeke. Like, Monet, you saw nothing between the two of them that would lead you to think that there was anything going on between the two of them. Like, that's just your own, I mean, you happen to be right this time, but I just feel like you always think the worst of people, and that's where you make that conclusion. But whatever, like I said, it's a whole lot of people putting 20 on 10 in this episode, at least in my opinion. So Tasha calls Paula to come down and visit her, and she says, listen, you've always been a lot of things, but you've never been a liar, and you lied to me about this expert witness. Like, I could see it in your face. And she was like, I didn't lie to you. What are you talking about? She was like, girl, come on, stop playing. Like, you lied to me to cover for Davis because you're sleeping with him, right? And she was like, what you mean I'm sleeping with him? She was like, listen, I can see it. And when my husband cheated on me, and then she went down that road of ghosting what he did to her. Why. Girl, get over it. Ghost dead. Angela dead. But she basically, but she did get in Paula's head, though. She got in his head about lying about an expert witness. And so she went, and while she was there, she went on her phone, and she looked through her phone to find out now. When I had went to the jail to visit people, I couldn't have my cell phone. But maybe different jails got different rules. I couldn't have my cell phone. Anyway, so she finds out that this expert witness is the scripper. And so she then gives Paula a message to give to Tariq, basically telling Tariq to kill the scripper. Talking about tell Tariq that, Tariq was hanging with a bad guy named Slim. And tell Tariq to handle Monet the same, I said Monet, the scripper the same way he handled Slim. Now, Paula, I know you've been around criminals long enough to know that was a threat. You've been around criminals long enough to know what the hell Tasha was telling Tariq. So Paula ends up meeting with, rewind. I was about to skip a whole lot of stuff. So now Mr. DNC, I gotta hurry up because this has been running long. Mr. DNC rolls up on Sax and shows Sax the pictures. So Mr. DNC was the one who was following Sax and got the pictures of him, Method Man, and the scripper. And here we go putting 20 on 10. From that set of pictures, he done figured out the whole scheme that the two of them were really working together to get Tasha off, and that Tariq must be the real killer. Now, wait a minute, maybe they didn't get that part. But the fact that they were all working together, and I'm like, how did you come to that conclusion just by that one picture? They could have been prepping a witness. They could have been investigating a legitimate lead. I mean, how did you automatically, in your mind, figure out the whole story? But he basically let Sax know, listen, what you doing, it may not be illegal, but it is unethical. And if it don't work, it's going to be a whole set of problems for you and everybody else, okay? So, Laz Alonso meets up with, Carrie and Jabari, and Carrie tells him all about Zeke and the whole Tejada connection and all of that, but how Zeke was innocent. And she was like, and that's what she told Zeke. She said, Zeke, you have a built-in alibi because, hello, you were playing the basketball game, so you have an alibi. Like, I don't even understand what you doing. So next thing you know, Carrie come rolling up in her office. Who's sitting in her office? Monet. And Monet tells her, she said, listen, I know you sleeping with Zeke. So what you gonna do is whatever you think you know, you gonna keep it to yourself. Or I'm gonna blow this whole spot up. Because if something happened to Zeke, first name on my mouth is gonna be yours. So of course now Carrie is like, damn it, damn. Okay, damn. Braden and Tariq go up to Yale to hand off the drugs to Elsie. That girl. And Tariq finally tells Braden the real truth. He admits that old girl didn't really try to sleep with him, but that she did drug him the night of his birthday, and that her uncle is a prosecuting attorney against his mother, and basically she was probably sit there as a plant, and that's why he had to get rid of her. Um, he showed Brayden the proof, so of course he showed Brayden the picture of Sax and all that. So of course Brayden believed him, and he was like, well, basically you could have just told me that from the damn beginning. Like all of this, we ain't have to play this game. Which I agree. Like if you was gonna tell him the truth anyway, you might as well told him the truth from the beginning. If you had the picture and the proof, what the hell? Anyway, so they get up to Yale, and him and Elsie end up having the conversation. Effie, whatever child name is, end up having the conversation that they needed to have. And he apologized and told her he had gotten caught up in some bullshit and that he didn't want her involved. And she was like, I really can't tell when you lying or telling the truth. But regardless of the situation, we are who we are. And at the end of the day, he was like, my mother wants me to do something that I really don't want to do. I'm not that person. Like, I'm not a monster. Because, again, we're on this monster theme. I'm not a monster. And she tells him point blank, she said, you know what? But you are. You're a monster. I'm a monster. She said, I accepted that about myself the night that I had to turn you in at the school. You need to accept the fact that you're a monster. Like, it just is what it is. So Tariq ends up going over to the Scripper's house. Now, how Tariq knew where the Scripper lived, I don't know. I don't know how everybody is finding her when she's not even living somewhere where she's supposed to be living. She is living in somebody else's house. She's not at her apartment. And I don't even understand why this was part of the storyline. Why y'all didn't have that woman at her apartment? Because then it would have made more sense as to how everybody kept fucking finding her. But whatever. I digress. They find her, and Tariq got the gun, and he's really going to kill her. And she tells Tariq everything that they want her to say in court and why they were there and all of that. Like, she tells him what's up because she don't think she's doing nothing wrong because she really thinks that she's there to help Tasha. So Tariq got the gun and everything, and you see him hesitating, and he don't really want to do it. And so the girl finally says, well, I tell you what, I don't even want to go to court. I don't even want to testify. Like, if I had the money to disappear, I just would. Now, mind you, Tariq got the money because they had just made the exchange with, gave the drugs for the money to Elsie up to the Yale. So he's got the money. So Tariq ends up giving her the money for her to disappear. So the next day in court, she don't show up in court, right? Sax and Davis end up having it out because Sax feels like Davis double-crossed him. Davis was like, what are you talking about? We had a plan. I didn't double-cross you. So then Sax ends up showing Davis the pictures that he has of them going into the Scripper's house that he got from DNC Man. And so now Davis is like, oh, so you double-crossed me. And he was like, I should have never trusted you. Yeah, I never should have trusted you either. Like, anyway, they're going back and forth. And so then he tells him Paula was the one that dimed you out. Like, your investigator dimed you out because she told Tariq what the deal was about the witness. Like, somebody told about, and he was like, what are you talking about? Paula would never do that. And he was like, he said, nah, I have the visitor's record. She went up to see Tasha St. Patrick up to the jail. So whatever they talked about probably has something to do with the fact that your witness ain't here. And he was like, Paula is solid. What is wrong with you? Paula would never do that to me. So he goes back into court and he ends up confronting Paula. Now here's what's stupid. They are standing in the middle of the courtroom where everybody around can hear anything. And they have this whole conversation in the middle of the courtroom talking about who really killed James St. Patrick, the fact that it was Tariq, the fact that they had this whole plan going on with the prosecutor and all of this. And she admits to him, well, you lied to me. I would have told you that it didn't work. Why didn't you trust me? And she was like, well, you should have told me. You lied to me. And then they end up having, and of course, the whole undertone of the conversation is that they're really in this relationship. Now, I'll say this, and shouts out to Retro G. Okay, I'm going to give him his props. Because at first I was like, this wasn't about the affair. This was really about the fact that he wasn't honest with her and he didn't tell her what was really going on. But in retrospect, he brought up the point, no pun intended, retrospect. But he was like, no, because of their relationship, she really thought she was more important than, and held a higher position in what she really had. Because at the end of the day, she was his prosecutor. She wasn't, an attorney with him. She was the prosecutor. I mean, she was his investigator. So at the end of the day, that was only really her job. And he really had no obligation to tell her what was going on or to tell her the ins and the outs. I understand she was also his Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It. But I think that had a lot to do with the fact that they were in a relationship. But neither here nor there, that relationship is over. She quit, and she quit as his concubine. And so, as a result, Sax's back is against the wall. And as a result, Sack says, you know what? Well, since the scripper didn't show up, at the end of the day, I know Tariq killed his daddy. I'm put Tariq on the stand, and he gonna have to tell the truth or whatever the situation is. So he subpoenas Tariq. Of course, Tasha is all crazy. She calls Tariq and lets Tariq know. Tariq meets up with Paula. Paula gives him his subpoena and tells him, listen, you need to get you a good lawyer, okay? So who does he end up calling? He ends up calling the black lawyer from the original Power, and he calls her up to meet up with her and let her know that Lord Jesus, 30 minutes, and let her know that he needs a lawyer. So she takes $1 from him and retains him and lets him know, I'm your lawyer now, but I need the truth. Did you kill your father? And he was like, yeah, I did. So he said, but I'm ready to turn myself in. Like, I'm ready to let him know that it was me, because I'm really sick of this. I'm tired of it. I don't want my mother going to jail. Now, getting convicted of this. Now, rewind a little bit. Tariq goes to see Monet. Remember, he don't have Monet's money. He done gave Monet's money away, okay, to the scripper. At the same time, Mr. GTG shows up with Monet's shipment, and Kane was like, so you robbing my family now? Like, this is Monet stuff. How you get Monet's shipment? And he was like, because Rico looking for a new distributor. And at that moment, it clicked with Kane, like, oh, wait a minute. If he's not going to be doing business with Monet no more, it's a problem over there. Like, there is a problem. So he immediately leaves. He tries to call them to warn them what's going on. We see Rico and a car full of hitters. They on their way. And it's that whole moment where you see, all this going on at the same time. So Tariq goes into the bar and lets Monet know that he don't have her money. And so, of course, she pulls a gun on him. And he was like, it is what it is. Now, Drew and Diana are trying to stop her, talking about he'll make it up. He's never been late before. And she was like, nah, he know the rules. It is what it is. And Tariq was like, I do. I know the rules. So do what you got to do. And I think that threw Monet off, because she was like waiting for him to beg or make up an excuse or something, because she really started kind of liking old boy. And she was like, what you mean? And he was like, do what you got to do. Like, I understand. You got to do what you got to do. And so while all this is going on, Rico pulls up. And Drew was like, yo, the connector's here. The connector's here. But they never get out the car. They never hear no car doors open or nothing. And Monet was like, get down. So they shoot up the bar. Monet got Drew. Tariq is covering Diana. For whatever reason, while they're still shooting, Drew decides to stand up and think he gonna run across the damn bar. He gets shot. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Anyway, they pull off. Kane pulls up. Because Kane was trying to get there. When Kane gets there, immediately Monet starts yelling at him, talking about something. You should have been here. Why weren't you here? Because you put me out the family. What are you talking about? You kicked me out the family, bitch. How am I supposed to be there? They get Drew to the hospital. Drew goes into surgery. Monet is outside crying. Diana, Kane walks up on her, tries to talk to her. She won't talk to Kane. Basically tells him, I done already told you dead to me. And basically, at this point, you on my hit list. And so he was like, if something happened to Drew, please understand I'm coming for your ass. I'm confused. I don't understand. Like, either you want the man to be a part, you gonna forgive him and you want him there, or you don't want him there. I don't understand. He tried to warn y'all asses. You didn't answer the phone when he called. I don't know what to say. That's the episode, though, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm sorry this ran long. My bad. But I feel like we almost done. Because next week look like it could be a good episode. But we're going to see if the writers fuck it up. Talk to y'all later. Peace.